and Victor is giving the talk.
Thanks. So I'm going to talk about the best arm identification problem, which is, again, a bandit problem. And as Olivier said, we are trying to design a learner which is robust to adversarial reward, but also is able to adapt to easier case where the rewards are generated stochastically, like in the previous talk. So first, I'm explaining what is the best arm identification problem. Yeah, so it's a bandit problem with a little twist. You have n rounds, and the learner picks an arm at each time step, observe the reward, only of the arm that he has picked. But basically, he's not penalized for this exploration. He can explore freely. It's just that at the end of the phase, when t is equal to n, the objective is to basically recommend the arms that is the best. There is no notion of cumulative regret. Just trying to minimize the probability of misidentification of K star. So K star is the best arm. In our case, the best arm is the arm that in hindsight has the highest cumulative reward between all the rounds. So in hindsight, you just compute all the rewards that have been assigned to every expert, and you look at the one that has the highest reward. So this problem has already been studied in a case where the rewards are stochastic. So for one arm, there is an unknown distribution, and a sample is sample IID from this distribution. We want in this work to look at the case where the rewards can be anything, non-stationary, arbitrary, or like designed to make the learner fail. So then the first question is, do we need a new algorithm for this type of problem? Because like we have, for example, a state-of-the-art algorithm, successive reject, by Audibert, Bubeck, and Munoz. And could it be robust to an adversary? So basically no, because successive reject pulls in a very deterministic way, and it's very predictable. And also, successive reject is an elimination algorithm, so at some point you decide to stop pulling an arm until the end of the game. And an adversary could notice that and then give to that particular arm very good rewards until the end of the game, so that now it becomes the best arm in hindsight. So basically, yeah, it seems that you need something else. You need at least internal randomization and maybe not reject arms to be robust to an adversary. A first result is studying the best arm identification in the worst case where we are playing against it's the minimaxed result against an adversary. So actually, here we are saying that this problem is somehow so hard that already, like with a very, very simple exploration strategy, pulling uniformly all the arms, you are in some sense optimal. If you compute the probability of error of this strategy, which is pulling the arm uniformly at random, the probability of error is diminishing exponentially with the number of rounds, and then there's this notion of complexity that depends on the data, which is both in the upper and lower bound. So in the worst case scenario against an adversary, just play uniformly. And okay, in the next slide, I'm talking about this notion of complexity to discuss a little bit further. So in hindsight, I can look at all my arms, I can sort them by the quality of the reward, the sum of the reward that has been assigned, and I can compute the gap between the arms. The smaller the gap, the harder it will be to discriminate the best arm, basically. And the complexity that is related to uniform exploration is this complexity, the number of arms k divided by the minimal gap. But basically, we know that we can do better in a stochastic case. So the successive reject is obtaining another notion of complexity, which is smaller, which means that he will have better performance. And he does that by not pulling uniformly, but adapting to the problem. So yeah, so the notion of complexity is smaller. So now, if I sum up, we have an algorithm that works well in the stochastic case, we have an algorithm that works well in the adversarial case. So can we design an algorithm, and they both fail in the other cases? Can we have an algorithm that works optimally in the stochastic and in the adversarial case without being aware in advance of the nature of the reward? So that's the best of both worlds question. And one first result is a negative result. Basically, it's not possible in general to obtain that. Somehow, here we are saying that even simpler problem is not even possible to solve. Like we have a new notion of complexity, which is a relaxed notion of complexity. This is supposed to be, so it's for the stochastic case, and it's supposed to be easier to obtain than the complexity of successive reject. And our lower bound is telling you that if you have an learner which is able to do better than this notion of complexity, then you will be arbitrarily bad against an adversary. And this notion of new notion of complexity, in some cases, is square root of k higher than the complexity of the stochastic reject. So yeah, you cannot have the best of both worlds, basically, in general. But it's not the end of the story, because this new notion of complexity can be strictly smaller than the uniform complexity. So uniform is not also the best algorithm to achieve the best of both worlds. We still need to design a new algorithm. And I want to argue that this question is challenging. If you think in terms of intuition, if you want to design an estimator for the mean, you can use like a simple average of the rewards that you have seen, but it could be biased by an adversary. If you use this estimator with importance weight, you don't have bias, but you can have high variance. This is basically in our work we use this thing. So we try to control the variance, which means we try to maximize the probability of pulling the arms for which we want to have small variance. So basically, in the end, to control the variance, you need to pull more the arms that are the most interesting. So you need to pull more the best arms, and it's kind of a chicken and egg problem because your task is to identify the best arm. And it's kind of natural to think that you cannot guarantee that you pull the best arm more than uniformly, at least at the beginning of the game. So what is the best thing that you can do? Basically, what we are saying is that you should make early bets. You should try right from the beginning to make bets on what are the best arms and pull them more than the other arms. And that's the algorithm that we propose. It's called probability one, basically because you sort the arms by the estimated average, and you play the best arm with probability 1, the second best arm with probability 1/2, and basically in general the third one with probability 1/3, and the one with rank I with probability 1/I, and even the worst arm is pulled 1/k, so it's pulled uniformly. The only problem, so it seems nice because you play everybody almost at least uniformly, but it's not a probability. So we have to normalize so that it's summed to 1, and the normalization factor is actually quite small. It's just log k. So at least we play the best arm 1/k log k, so it's very close to uniform still, and the most interesting arms, we play them much more often. Almost all the time. We play the best arm almost all the time. And it's a very simple algorithm with no parameter. And basically, we hope that if it's an easy stochastic problem with large gap, very fast it will be clear what is the best arm. So very fast you will play the best arm more than the other ones. And you will be able to reduce the variance. So graphically, this is uniform against the 1 over the rank. Yeah, and the message is that it's costless to do early bets. And this type of law, where you try to play an element proportionally to the rank, actually it has a name. It's called the Zimpf law, and it seems to occur a lot in a lot of practical problems, and sometimes with some in a funny way. Like the classical example is the words in the English dictionary. If you look at the frequency of the words in the English dictionary, for example, the word "and" is the third most used word, and is used 3 times less than the word "the", which is the word the most used. And then we prove basically that the probability 1 algorithm matches the lower bound, and we have also some experiments. That's it.
Questions, comments?
I have a question. Okay, if my setting is stochastic until the last step, and the last step the adversary does something completely adversarial, then you're not providing something better than another player.
you are saying that if it's stochastic until the last step is adversarial, then my bound doesn't work? Mm.
And I think the last step is do that, and then the last step comes from living with the cell that has a very high reward on the bottom. Then either in the best case or the cell case, we can do something.
I mean, you will do something kind of bad, but in the adversarial case, we measure the probability with respect to the gap in hindsight, so it will still be.
Okay, so it's the empirical graph.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's move to the next talk. Thank you again, Tom. So we